So
What's up? What's up?
what books you been reading, dog?
Bro, I've been reading a lot lately. At the moment, I'm reading this book called Win the Inside Game. Win the Inside Game. Let me see who it's by.
I
Steve
picked
Magness. Steve Magness. This is a good book. It's a good book, honestly. It talks a little bit about our limiting beliefs and what type of things, like the two different ways of thinking about of thinking. There's like the protective thinking and there's the progressive thinking. Like when you're in a progressive thinking, you're like constantly like looking forward to going more. And when you're in the protective, it's like the fight or flight. You know what I mean? You're not looking to progress, you're just looking to protect yourself. And so the guy worked at Nike. He was one of the main coaches for the track team at Nike. And what ended up happening was like they were doing some questionable stuff to get away with drug tests. And they were like really mistreating the athletes, just looking for results, like, and abusing the athletes. And this guy was saying that he was in the protective state because he knew it was wrong. He knew what was going on was wrong, but he didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to lose his job and he didn't want to like get into the heat of being a whistleblower. And then all of a sudden he decides to blow the whistle and starts like talking to USADA, like the drug administration, and starts like sending out information to the press. And for like the next 10 years of his life, he was like dealing with the repercussion of being a whistleblower. And then he talks a lot about like the different mentalities that he had to go through in order to become a whistleblower.
That's interesting. I'm looking at it right now. It says, striving is in our nature. We all want to perform at our best when it matters most. But in today's world, many of us feel lost, isolated, and overwhelmed. We're paralyzed by the fear of failure and crippled by insecurities. We know we're capable of more, yet no matter how hard we try, we feel stuck. We've been sold the wrong path to success and personal fulfillment. Renowned performance scientist and best-selling author Steve Magness reveals a new path to sustainable success. And when the inside game, Magness argues that excellence and fulfillment are not mutually exclusive. We can and should seek both. When we measure our worth by our achievements, cement our identities to our careers, and sacrifice our well-being in the pursuit of external validation, it backfires. We default to survival mode, protecting and defending ourselves instead of being free to fulfill our potential. You know, what that makes me think about? That makes me think about like taking a step back from work and letting like the creative juices flow. You know, like when you get caught up just like work, 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 you stop like producing ideas and stop being creative.
100%. 100%. It talks a lot about that in the creative act. Like sometimes when you're in the deep of things, like you can't really see it clearly, but then when you take a step back and you allow your mind to focus on something else for a little bit, it just like the whole picture starts to make sense again.
I need to reread that book. I just recommended that book to somebody. I need to reread it. There's a lot of books I want to reread. What are some books you would reread? Three books. Let's do three books that we've already read and like are worthy of rereading.
Oh, well, I'll go straight off of one that I just reread. I just reread Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Dude, that's a good book. That's a
Really?
good. Yeah, yeah. He's got a story to tell, man. It's truth be told, like, yes, it has a lot of drug addiction. He talks a lot about that, but it's the way that he speaks about the drug addiction. It's the way he speaks about of the responsibility of the addiction and the way that his mind processes what it's all about. It's truly interesting because you start to like, at least for me, I started like analyzing the things in my life that I'm like quote unquote addicted to, and that like you start like developing a different relationship with it because of the way like, because anything in our life that's habitual is an addiction, at least in my mind. It's an addiction, and if we can like understand like the path or understand the process of being an addict, then it's like you can learn to rewire your brain to like become addicted to different things that will lead to a better you.
I think you should read that James Smith book because you're reading a lot about like the mind and are very interested in the mind, bro. That book was one of the most interesting books I've ever read. It just talks a lot about maintaining a state of equanimity It's just like a balanced thinking. He said he talks a lot about critical rationalism and just not letting your emotional part of your brain and then your logical part of your brain even happen at the same time because they produce very different results. And then also just analyzing the facts as just information and like making logical, rational decisions based off of whatever the information presented is, no matter how emotional it could be or happy it could be or sad it could be. It's like you just look at it as information and then come up with the next best decision.
You know what's interesting? I've been reading recently that the emotional side of our brain lies to us. So if we're truly like to think objectively, it's not that the emotional side doesn't exist. It's that the emotional side clouds the judgment. It clouds the actual reality of the situation. Because if you, like you and I could both look at the same exact thing, and one of us feels fear, one of us feels like happiness, feels like laughter. So
Hmm.
it's like the truth is truly subjective to like whatever the hell you're feeling. But if you can remove that emotional state, you begin to see it objectively for what it truly is. It's like that's a bird. You could say that's beautiful, I could say that's ugly, but then we could change it completely to that's a bird to something we both technically agree on to what it actually is. And then that removes that like that interpretate that like that different interpretation of what it could possibly be versus what it is.
Yeah, that book, I would say that's one of the books that's had like the biggest influence on me recently in my daily life. Because
I would say for me,
I'll
like
find myself wanting to, I'll find myself like here in a conversation with somebody and wanting to respond emotionally. And then I'll
mm,
stop myself and be like, wait a second, and then think a couple steps ahead and then articulate myself better.
that's interesting. That like for me though, the one that's been impacting me like that has been the systems thinking book. This book
Mm.
called Thinking in Systems, bro. It's insane. It's insane because the end of the book, I'd say, was for me the most valuable part because instead of talking about like because the whole book is basically like connecting the dots between a system and like trying to explain like what exactly the whole theory of systems thinking is. But then the book ends with saying systems thinking is basically like you can know the theory, you can know it all, but if you're not putting it into practice in your life, it doesn't matter. They're saying like you can like they're saying that us scientists, the people that develop this system, we could tell you the ins and out of a system, but we couldn't follow the 10-day running program that we made for ourselves. And she says it like she goes like we couldn't do it. So therefore, like, are we true system thinkers? And it's like we created the curriculum, but we can't even follow a system. So then it talks about like a true systems thinker is able to objectively analyze their life and be able to notice the system, like all the different parts, all the inputs, the outputs of what's going on in your life, and be able to what's it called? Manipulate the different things in order to go where you want to go.
It's interesting.
That could have been said
I,
way simpler.
I want to I think I want to reread The Creative Act. I know we were talking about that. I think maybe after the podcast I'm gonna read The Creative Act, see how much I can read because the pages are really short. What I remember getting from that book was that whatever you create, someone will appreciate and find value in, and there will be a market for whatever you decide to create. That was like the big theme I took from that book. And it's been probably a year since I've read it, but that still sits with me. What did you take from that book?
I took the need for presence. Like that book basically told me that creativity comes in the act of being present. The more
Yeah.
present you can be, the more you notice, and the more you notice, the more connections can be made.
Yeah, I like that. What's another book I'd want to reread? I'll tell you what, one book that was really good that's totally off topic from what we normally talk about, but that's Shogun.
Oh yeah, I want to read that.
It's a great,
I have it.
fantastic,
I
it's a
want to get back into
fantastic book.
reading Stephen King.
Yeah.
I want to get
Yeah.
back into that
I
because I
haven't read
think
any of
it's really good to learn how to tell a story. because a lot
Yeah.
of the things that we're reading right now, there's no story involved. It's like simply fact, and we're learning. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like,
Exactly.
you get so convoluted in like the idea of like explaining a fact that you lose the ability to paint a picture for somebody.
One of the best books, nonfiction books, it's like a Pulitzer Prize. It's a curriculum book for the neuroscience degree, I guess is what it's called, neuroscience. But how the mind works.
Hmm.
We were talking about that a while ago. It's a
I
pain. It's an absolute pain to read, but it does a good job of telling the story and like setting up the main point. It sets up the main point very well and gives you all different viewpoints. Like I feel like whenever I decide to write a book, which I want to do eventually, I'm sure you probably have a goal to do that at some point as well. But
yeah.
whenever I go to write my own book, I'm gonna be rereading that one. That's when I'll reread that one because it's more than anything, like forget about the information. If you want to learn about how the mind works and how your brain operates and everything like that, great book to read. But if you want to like really articulate yourself well and write a good book, I feel like that's what you read that book for, is to learn how to
Hmm.
write a book.
Another one I want to reread is Ikigai, the Japanese secret to happiness. I believe that's what it's called.
I love those books like that, the Eastern philosophy. That's why I think I really like Shogun because it's like samurai and like war battles and like mentality and like the code to life, like the samurai code, Bushido. Like
Yeah,
it's cool to read about that, and it's supposed to be an accurate, historically accurate novel.
really. Okay.
I don't think it's fully a true story, but like it's historically accurate in like the time frames and like how there was different, leaders of the clans and like people owned their part of the land, but it was still like Japan, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, so Japan is such an interesting, like I think out of all the countries in the East, like that's one of the ones that is the most like has the most like tradition and like I feel like they're like
yeah.
just a model society really.
Yeah, it's just crazy though. Like when you read about what it was like in the 1500s or even before, and it's just like arrows and swords, like two swords on at a time if you're a samurai. Like
You're
that's
double
pretty
wielded.
sick.
You're double wielded. You're
Yeah,
ready
you
to
got the long sword and the short sword. You keep them on.
go. Yo, what book like what books have you read that were fun that you would want to reread?
Definitely that one. Definitely Shogun. That's like a fun book. Um, what's a fun book? I think Shogun, bro. Shogun's at the top of my mind. I'd have to sit down and I'd have to go look at my collection, look at my library real quick and see what are some other ones.
I want to reread it. Like that the one about the clown, that's a
I
good
never read
book.
that one.
Dude, it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
what's that book about?
So it is kind of it's like an entity more so than a clown. Like the whole thing about it is that it is anything that scares you. So these kids they grew up in a town. It's called Derry, and I forgot what state it's in, but Derry. Let me look up the premise. Where does it take place?
I just went through and looked at
Okay, yeah,
some of my library.
Derry and Maine, and then it's these kids who just like they're having fun, whatever, and then they get to this like this part of the lake or part of like a river. They end up going into this like into this strange little like how do you say it like tunnel, and they just like encounter a whole bunch of stuff like this entity like has haunted the town for many years, and and then it just like starts haunting them over the over this period. I'm painting like the most basic picture of it, but yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
painting the most basic picture of it, but it's been a while since I've read it. I read it before the movie came out.
One very entertaining book because I just went to go look. Um, the Book of Five Rings. Have you ever read
Mm,
that?
no.
The Book of Five Rings, that's another Eastern samurai philosophy book, and it talks about the five different I guess codes of life you could say, and it's basically like heaven, earth, wind, fire, like one more, and it talks about like the like what that means for the samurai. And
Mm,
it also goes a lot into like techniques as well that they would use, like
okay,
sword fighting techniques and their mentality. And yeah, it was one of the books that I read like in preparation for one of my fights.
nice. Okay, so I'm remembering some things about it right now. So there's one thing that like in the movie they don't talk they don't show this, but like there was kind of like a I don't know if we could talk about this on the podcast, but there was like a not like it wasn't rape, but like they kind of like so there was one girl in the group and the rest were guys, and they kind of like in the book. So what they did in the movie was they cut blood and they made like a blood tie to like never talk about it again or to like never let the thing like come out. But in the book, like they all have sex with the girl. Yeah. Like they like
Yeah,
basically
they had to leave that
rape.
part out of the movie, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. Like and the movie came out like the movie came out recently, like 20. Let me see. When did the movie come out? Because they had the old one.
I never read Louis Simmons like documentary book or like story. Did you ever read that, The Iron Samurai?
I read a bit of it, but I never finished it.
Yeah, I read the first couple chapters of it.
I read a little bit of it when we started the podcast, actually. That's when
Yeah,
I got the full Iron, the West Side, the full West Side discography.
collection. Yeah, yeah, that's what I did too,
Okay, so
bro.
this was 2017. 2017 that the first It came out. Well, no, 1990 was the first one. And then 2017 was like the new version, and then 2019 was the It Chapter 2. So the book is like split into two parts. The first part they're kids, and the second part they're adults where they go back to Derry because like the whole thing is like they end up like killing this like clown, and then 30 years later, 20 years later, they go back and they like kill the clown again.
Bro, you know one of the most interesting books I ever read, like just had me on the edge of my seat.
Which one?
The National Physical Therapy Exam Review Study Guide. That one just
Oh
like,
my God.
dude, that one fired me up.
Dude, that one, I can imagine. I can imagine they tell compelling stories. They're
It
very,
was like I couldn't put it down, bro, barely. I was like, I would just stay up all night. So excited to read that one. Nah, but you know what book is have you ever read Relentless by Tim Grover?
no.
Dude, you should add that one to cart. It's like it's a quick read. I think I read it in like 2 days. And it fires you up, bro. Because Tim Grover is I think he was he was the strength coach for like Michael Jordan, Kobe, like a lot of big names. Maybe not Kobe, but definitely Michael Jordan. And
I think he
this
did
guy,
coach. I think he did coach Kobe.
I might be
Tim
right. I feel
Grover.
like I remember reading that. Tim Grover,
Tim
who is Tim Grover
Grover.
coached?
Who
But
did?
it's just his mentality and just staying relentless, basically, just nonstop. It's very motivational book.
Yeah, I like. Okay, so it says Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Wow. Charles Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen, Tracy McGrady, Gilbert Arenas.
He has another book called Winning. I haven't read Winning, but I've read Relentless.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I want to read. I really want to read The Art of Winning by Bill Belichick. I just got that book. I got that book, and I feel like that one is going to be a great one to read. Is it talks a lot. I read the description and it says the whole thing of do your job means that you're able to put past the loss much easier because you're just looking at, okay, how do I do my job? If I'm doing my job, the result doesn't matter. I just have to do my job. I have to continue doing my job. And if I continue doing my job, the inevitability of winning is a lot higher, or it's like the chances of winning are a lot higher.
Yeah, I like that. This
Yeah, so
book
I
is,
definitely
I think for any beginner coaches out there, this is a decent book.
is that the Joel Smith, yeah.
Yeah. It's very beginner, it's very entry level, but it's a, like that's who it would be good for. Like if it's you're getting your first like book on training and you want to learn about jumping, I think that's a good book. Vertical Foundations.
If you like a good book for the body, there's a few. But one that I really like is Muscles and Meridians. I think Muscles and Meridians is it's a little bit better than Anatomy Trains because it's a lot less of a book. Anatomy Trains is a true textbook, and while Muscles and Meridians has a lot of the same things, like it's not the same things as in like the same ideas. It has the same things as in it's a very scientific book, but it's way less. I think
That reminds me
it's
of
less than 200 pages.
these, the Parisi books.
Yeah.
Like in the Parisi books, it's again it's pretty entry level, but what I like about the Parisi books is there's practical application. Like a lot of the books, they don't give you things to do. But this one,
Yeah.
it talks about, your basic strength. It talks about like connective tissue. It gives you like a complete picture of the body in an athletic training standpoint. And it gives you like basic anatomy pictures and it gives you exercises and like what the exercises do and how to do them to target this system of the body. And yeah, it's a good another good like entry level.
I I think that one's a very, very prime example of discard or take what's useful, discard what isn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Like and we know exactly why. That one page you went to.
Bro, it was crazy. I flipped to that page on accident, but there's a bunch of those type pages.
Yeah, yeah, like
But it's like, you got to support or not even support, but I don't know. If you make it to a certain distance with somebody, like what are you gonna do?
yeah, exactly. And
So,
that takes me back a little bit to when we were with Weck, like when we were at his library and just like seeing all those awesome books. Dude, I wanted to get the ones of the pie. You
you
know,
know what you know what just hit me though right now is like when you look at his library, when you look at David Weck's library, it really like proves to you that he's the inventor. Because his books are not teaching what he's teaching, you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's certain things like, but
Bro, like the
he's
book
the
of pie, like the symbols and
yeah, like bro, what?
learning what the numbers mean. Like he was saying that's the most important book that like he was like trying to get us to read it and read it and read it. And you go in, you think it's gonna be like something correlated to movement, and it's like about symbols.
Yeah. But
And
that's
so
how he thinks
like,
though. That's how he thinks. He's very onto that word. What does he call it?
oh, English.
English. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, English. So that's what that's
English.
what I that's what I think we touched upon this on the podcast with Devin where we were talking about the best coaches. Their reading has nothing to do with the body and stuff. Like yeah, they know it, they've read it, whatever. But the best coaches, like what they're reading, like most of the time isn't that. Like they're reading about the mind, they're reading about like other
Yeah. I mean,
avenues to
bro,
tap in.
think about some of the big coaches that we've had on the podcast. Like they all share that. Brian didn't read any like anatomy textbooks or anything like that. Tony Holler was talking about he doesn't really read any books like that.
Yeah.
Uh, there are some other people who said the same thing. Now, some people, when they say that, though,
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's a difference
there's
between
yeah, there's a
there's a
difference.
difference. There's a difference because look, when you talk to Cliff, Cliff gave us a bunch of examples of like body books, but like if you ask him like a little bit further what other books you're reading, like he'll because the thing is like he's read all of them. You get what I mean? Like he's read all those books, so he has all that knowledge and it's like okay, once you get it, you get it. I feel like
Yeah,
that's how it is with us. Like once you get the fascia, once you understand it, you don't need to like dive that much deeper.
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's very true. Because like now at this point, like there's still a lot of books that I want to read about training, or I just want to at least have them. I will definitely read them when I get them, but there's a lot that I want to add to my library. But I'm very confident in my coaching abilities, and I want to dive more into the mindset books, the psychology. Like I want to read that David Deutsch book really bad. Like that's
Mhm.
probably the next one I'm gonna get is that David Deutsch book.
Dude, I want to read this one. I want to
Business
read the
books,
book
like
Make the Stick again.
I'm very ready to read this book.
Oh, bro, that one is
That's
awesome. You
that's been
gotta you
sitting
gotta read.
that's been waiting for me to read for a long time. If anyone's only listening, it's $100 Million Money Models by Alex Hormozy, his new book.
Look, man, you gotta hop on. You gotta hop on becoming a supple leopard.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe I haven't bought that yet. That was like
It's
that was one of the first books I ever put in my cart because everyone talks about it, but I just
yo,
found like other ones that I wanted to read more than it.
Brett. If you want to talk about application and like putting into application, putting into.
Bro, I want to get the pain-free performance book that John Russin just
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like
released.
65 bucks, but I want to get that.
Did you see his video? His video with his son, it made me cry.
Really,
Yeah, I cried when I watched it. I was gonna comment,
dude.
but I didn't.
I I can't say I cried, but I definitely like it did make me a bit emotional. Where he was talking about like all the nights, like all like the work that he was putting in, and like seeing his son and everything, and like the son probably not understanding like how much he was working hard. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like the dedication when he had to explain, he's like, that's a dedication page, son. Like I made this book for you. And like, bro, like that made me burst out. Like I was like, why am I doing this? But I just like bursted out in tears because like I don't know, I just wanted like I just saw myself doing that in the near future, like having a book and like I don't know, creating something that's gonna last longer than me for my kids. Like, bro, that was beautiful. We need to get him on the
100%.
podcast.
That'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
I'll write that down. I feel like he'd be down to come on.
So with the becoming a supple leopard book, you have fascia releases for your freaking face, for your eyes. There's an occipital fascia release. I gotta find it, but it's insane, bro. Like the amount of fascia releases that there are in this book.
It's a very
Like,
pretty book too.
yeah, like here's the thing, like
Show it to the camera.
yeah, here, let me okay, whatever. I'm just gonna show you this right here. So, like for example, in the book, like you're literally getting all these exercises, and can you see that? It looks
You can see a little bit. Like you're not gonna be able to like screenshot the page and read it, but it looks good. Like you can see
yeah.
what
I
I'm
mean, the
talking
book
about.
itself is a very pretty book. Like
Yeah,
it's got like this nice little like leopard pattern on it, leopard,
the leopard.
the leopard. I mean, these three books they're goated. Like I've read offers like 3, 4 times now. $100 million offers, $100 million leads. I have not read. I've read books 1 and 3, but I have not read book 2 yet. I've not read leads, money models. So here's the thing.
I think, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna show you a book. I think this book is very important. We were talking about it earlier.
Just because a book has a number on it, I think in my journey of where I am in the entrepreneurial world, entrepreneurial space, I believe for me, offers and money models need to come first before leads. Because with offers, you need the offer first. Once you understand what you're going to give to people, what problems you're going to solve, how you're going to solve it. Then you move into the money model. How are you going to implement it to actually make money? And then from there, you figure out how the hell you're going to get people. At least that's how I'm seeing it, like in my way. So I haven't read leads yet because I still haven't gotten past what I needed to learn from offers and or from what I need to like get through from offers and money models.
This one right here.
Oh, choose your enemies wisely. Yeah,
This one I've been saying for a while.
I don't know
I
if I
might this
have.
may be the one that I reread tonight because this book I did the whole exercise, like every exercise that was in this book I did it. It gives you it's a business planning book and you're supposed to, do the exercises that it gives you and write it on paper and I did it and I want to do it again because I did it like a year, like probably like 2 years ago I did it.
So there's two books. Here's like
I,
four books, but
I really like Patrick Bet David too. I think he's a good role model.
I think everybody. I'm actually gonna get this book for you, Brett. I'm gonna get it for you and I'll give it to you whenever we see each other. But this isn't my copy. I bought like 8 copies of this book to like give to people. Bro, 1 page a day and one journal entry. This is the one I got at outside the box.
Yeah, I remember.
And then this is my copy. My copy's all beat up. My copy's all beat up, and this is like a new copy.
Yeah, dude, I would definitely read that.
It's 1 page a day. It's super easy. And truth be told, it's been helping me out a lot. It's been
Dude, you
helping
know
me
what
out
that
a
reminds me
lot.
of? Keep going. I'm
What?
gonna bring out a book.
Okay. Another book that I think everybody should read, regardless of whatever the hell you're doing in your life. I think everybody's got to read The Inner Game of Tennis. Like The Inner Game of Tennis, man. This book, I think I thank Colin so much. Like I've texted him a few times about like just thanking him for recommending it because it truly changed my perspective so much. Like he was talking about it in the sense of coaching, which yes, it is a coaching book, but it goes so much deeper than the actual coaching itself. Like just being able to learn to let go and allow the it says self one, self two, self one is your conscious mind, and then self two is your subconscious. It's saying to allow self to take over more, to be in that flow state, to be in that where you're not thinking about each move, you're not trying to force every action. And bro, like if you're having a tough time in your life, and I'm speaking more to the audience right now. If you're having a tough time in your life, trying to the whole problem is trying. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're not doing and you're trying, like that whole thing where like someone's like, hey, do this, and you're like, I'm trying, and they say no, there's no try. There's either do or do not. Like that's the number one like thing that I took away from the book.
This is very similar to Change Your
Mm.
Brain Every Day. It's come
Uh,
on.
the Book of Mysteries. Okay, that's cool.
The Book of Mysteries. So it's like it's the same thing. It's a page a day, and it's in it's in a Christian context, but you read the page, you read the page, it's gonna be hard to see, but then at the end of the page, it says the mission. So you're supposed to
Hmm.
read a page, and then it gives you a mission of the day. So like, for example, this random page I flipped to says the mission. Where do you need to go? What promised land has God called you to enter? What must you first leave? Begin your exodus today. And it's like there's 365 of them.
That's really cool. I like that. I added that one to the cart.
So
Ooh,
like here's
it's
another
only nine
random one.
bucks.
The mission. Live today as a candle in the night. Don't fear the darkness or be intimidated by it, but shine all the more brightly against the night.
Yeah,
So
I just ordered this book because like I really like that. I really like that. Another good book that I haven't read yet, but this one's gonna be either the next book I read or the book after, The Oxygen Advantage, by Patrick McKeown. So what I really like the books that give you that give you ways to like fix the thing they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like they give you the application. And supposedly this book gives you techniques on how to breathe better. And that's one of the
Mm.
things that truly I've been obsessed with lately, especially after our podcast with Andrew. Um, just like learning the internal rotation ever since we went to San Diego, internal rotation has been huge in my hips, like for fixing my back and like the ringing. Like I didn't understand the ringing as much, but
Yeah.
that's been my whole focus in fitness has been the ringing. Yeah, yeah, like the ringing, like the far steer, near steer,
Yeah.
all that, and just like the internal, external, and just like the significance our fingers play in movement. Been
I
obsessed.
really like the one. It's really hard. Like I've never had success with this cue in person, but like you have to be very in tune to your body for this cue to work. But the one about the fourth finger, where if you try to point the fourth if you try to drift the fourth finger back as far as you can, it pulls you into the coil.
Okay,
It pulls you very deep. And so like take your fourth finger and try to like
I
flick
can't
it.
do that. I
No,
can't do.
nobody can. But you
You
try, you
can.
try, try, and watch how it pulls you into the coil, how it pulls your elbow into the hip and it gets your lat going. If you try to flex the
Yeah,
fourth finger back, do you feel it?
bro. How are you doing that? I can't do that.
You can't get it up that high?
I can't get it up. Period.
Like your other fingers go like way back, but like the fourth finger can only go so high. But if you try, it brings you into the coil. That's what Weck taught me.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Do
I
you
like
feel it?
that. I do. I do. And you know what's interesting is I didn't understand the coil until like truth be told, I did not understand the coil till we were in San Diego.
So tell the people what you learned.
Well, okay, so the coil isn't just about bending. It's quite literally wrapping, it's like creating a wrapping sensation with the fascia into one side of the body.
Yeah.
So the reason why Weck does the ringing is because the ringing is kind of like twisting a towel. When you twist one side and you twist it enough, you're eventually going to get to the other side, right?
Hmm.
So it's the same thing with the coil. If we really ring our fist and we truly get that ring, then we're creating that like it's not even just a bend, it's a rotation and a scoop. And that rotation and scoop, like you're getting like a wrapping sensation around the body. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Like whenever I do that,
Nice.
like those fascia releases, and if you get really intense in it and you truly like get that ringing sensation, you feel the fascia wrapping.
Yeah.
Like you literally feel like the coil itself. Like what is a coil? A coil is like a spring, and when you compress that spring and it's like here, you bring it to here, that's like where you get that tight sensation, where you get that true like fascia, you get that fascia connection feel. And man, it's been really interesting lately. I've been doing Tai Chi a lot. The past like I've been doing Tai Chi for the past few years, but I got away from it. I got away from it a ton. And the past like 3 weeks, I've truly been thinking of like to close your eyes and feel the energy. So like lift your hand and like I've been doing a little bit of Weck methodized. So like it's like I'll start like this. I'll like close my eyes and I'll put my hands right here and then I'll come up, bring one leg up, and it's like I'm feeling the energy flow through the body, then put it down, lift up, and it's been interesting. It's been
Sure.
interesting. Definitely, it's very.
This is one of the craziest videos where you see the lat moving.
Oh yeah, this account has been pretty cool that you've been showing me.
Well, they do a lot of cadavers, but they only get so many, so they'll be posting other content until they do another cadaver. but that's why I followed them. I followed them because one of the cadaver studies popped up. But the way you see the lat interact with the scap and the rest of the arm, it's fascinating, and it really makes sense like why the lat is so important. It's like
So can I ask you something real quick?
the
What do
shell.
you what do you believe the biggest reason for learning anatomy is for a coach? Like, why do you think it's
Mm,
important?
I think it depends on I think it depends on who, like what your job is as a coach. Like if you're a physio versus like a sports performance guy, you know what I mean? Because or if you're trying to be everything, then it's even harder. You have to know it all, right? But like to really know the anatomy in and out, I think is important for like a physio or someone who's like a rehab specialist or like a movement professional. And then in terms of like a sports performance specialist, it's more so knowing like the functions and the systems of the body and like energy systems and you know best methods for developing certain attributes.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you my perspective of learning it like as an athlete because I'm not a full-time coach. I'm not like the coaching for me is mainly a hobby, but the way that I see it is like the more I know how something works, the more I can visualize it in my brain. So
Definitely.
like for example, like seeing like the lat interact with the scap, then I'm like, oh, that's how that's supposed to look. How can I make it feel like that? So if I see it in application, then when I do it, I can understand it a little bit more. Because it's a very different seeing like the anatomy, like the things you're showing, like the things you were just showing was like you're truly seeing a cadaver and you're seeing the actual muscles and you're seeing the actual like fascia react.
Yeah.
So then now that I have that visual in my head, when I actually go to do the exercise, that visual comes back and that's what I'm seeing. And because because I understand it and I have seen a visual of what it's supposed to look like, now I can
Mhm.
feel it a lot better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, bro, I'm still very down to do a Tom Myers, David Weck,
Oh, 100%.
bro. Oh my goodness.
I really, you know what I really appreciate
We still need to
recently?
get Tom Myers on the pod.
Hey, that'll be lit. That'll be lit. I don't know how much public appearances he's doing and like how much he's like putting putting out for free. But man, if we could get that, that'd be awesome. And no, I'm not gonna say if anymore. We will get them. We
Yeah,
will get
definitely.
them. I've been
Definitely.
doing a lot of recently. I've been on a kick of I got away from like studying movement. I got away from studying movement recently, especially. You know what got me away from studying it? Being at Weck's house. Truth be told, man. Because when I was seeing what he was reading, like you said, he is the scientist. Like
Yeah.
what he's reading is just, like it's all about it. Like yeah, he's read all the books. Like if you ask him about any movement book, he's read it. But that's not what gave him that. He says he didn't like take anything from it, like in terms of like applying it into what he's like discovering. You know what I mean? And maybe that's a gross understatement. He took a lot of stuff, but it's like that wasn't what that wasn't what created Weck Method.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
created Weck Method was like him being able to explore the body and make the connections and like understand certain things like the fingers. Like, bro, like you're not gonna like if you really want to like go deep into any of those books, they're not talking about like the fingers, they're not talking about like the connection, they're not talking about that stuff. Like, so it took him knowing all the connections, knowing all the little things, and being able to like create his own understanding.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. It's like his place, bro, spending time with him was just, it was a total blessing. It was a great time. Fantastic weekend.
Unreal.
But
It's unreal.
his his whole house is like conducive to an inventor. Like it's just a workspace basically. Like everything is just ready at any time to dive into some sort of creative act, you know?
So let's go into like David Weck being a creative act. So we run into him. Brett and I go to dinner. Brett and I go to dinner, and we end up running into David Weck like at the supermarket. And we're in the parking lot for what I believe had to have been over an hour.
Yeah, it had to have been an hour in the
It
parking
had to
lot
have been
of the
over an
grocery
hour
store.
just like exploring movement and doing weird things and like dodging cars. Like we're in the middle of a parking lot. Like we weren't in the grocery store. We weren't in like a private place. We were in the parking lot, like dodging cars. There's cars backing out. There's cars coming in.
We're doing like coiled back pedals, same size, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah. He was
the
teaching
back
us how a defensive back, like
the
how a
defensive
defensive
back
back.
pedal was hilarious, bro.
And then we were doing like running, we were doing like approaches. He was like teaching us all this stuff, and then like the store was about to close, and we are like, David, get your stuff, like get whatever you need to go, and let's go. We were gonna go out. We were gonna go out and explore the city, but I was like, nah, I want to learn. Like I just want to like keep this conversation going.
Oh my God, bro. We were on the way to there was a Padres game going on and we're en route to the Padres game on foot. And then here comes Dave all by himself walking through the street.
Yo, and that guy has a presence. Like when you see Dave, you can't mistake David because of his walk. Like you can't mistake him. There
Dude,
is not another David walking around.
there's not anyone like him. You could see him from definitely a mile away. Like, bro, it was a while. It was a pretty far distance away. Like, yo, that's Dave right there. You can't see the facial features. You're just like,
You
oh,
see the movement. Like here's
there
the
he
thing.
is.
As soon as you see somebody like somebody perfectly rotate into the one side, dip and come up and dip into the other side, you know that's David, bro. Like
Doing Tai Chi.
he walks so like he walks so in the coil that it looks iconic. Like he looks like he's doing a model runway every time he walks, bro.
He's like an anime character in real life,
He truly is. He deserves his own movie. Like think about,
bro.
bro, do you remember when he would just like whip out the camera like out of no moments, no, just whip out the camera and
Bro,
start
all right,
filming like
this is a good story. This is a good story. So we're in San Diego at the Weck Method Lab hanging out. It was a pretty chill, moment throughout the day. Everybody's just sitting down. Dave pops up out of nowhere, looks at me. He goes, I have an idea. Here, take my phone. Press record. We walk over to the squat rack. There's like 4 plates on the squat rack, like 400 pounds on the squat rack. He just unracks the squat rack and starts walking. And everybody's like, what are you doing? The floor is crowded. There's like stuff laying down all over the place. And he's just walking with 400 pounds on his back, doing the tightrope demonstration, racks it up. He's like, could have been better. Like, bro, I was
yo,
like,
I thought he
dude,
was gonna drop it when I
that's what
saw that.
everybody was telling him. They were like, Dave, what are you doing?
That was dangerous. And then Chris comes up to me and goes, Dave, not again, not again. Not that. Not
Like,
he
bro,
goes,
like what could have been going through his mind at that time where he just gets so excited? He's like, Brett, record this. Run
and then
straight
when
to the
he
squat
was
rack.
like playing around with the he was playing around with the treadmill and doing all these things with it.
Oh
Like
my God.
that guy's brain is a creative act.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's what he talks about a lot is like through creating the Bosu ball, he was able to actually live that, like be creative and just invent and like just progress movement and progress his mission because he has the time.
Yeah, and I mean, look, that trip motivated me so much. If I'm gonna tell you the truth, what I learned most in that trip wasn't about movement, but it was a mindset change.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
mindset change.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Being surrounded by good people, man. It definitely it makes you want to elevate.
makes you want to elevate, and like realistically what I truly wanted to elevate was my financial situation. Like the biggest thing that really taught me that I really learned at that trip was having a financial goal doesn't make you selfish because money is ability. And the more ability you have, the more ability you have to actually help people.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the opportunity to be selfless. Like,
Hmm.
when we go to the steak dinner and the Uberzadi guys buy us breakfast and then dinner the same night, like steak dinner, expensive steaks, like I don't know, man, like that's nice to be able to do. And
Yeah, you get what I mean?
and
Like
it
you're
feels
able to
good,
take
like
care of
bro,
your
like if you're in
people.
a position where you can do that, like bro, like that's a great feeling, you know what I mean? To go buy everybody, $100, $200 steaks, like that's a good feeling, you know? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
straight up, bro. Straight up.
That's what
Like,
it's all about, like being able to pass it all down. Like that's what they were saying. Like whenever we were talking after dinner, we were talking about the podcast and everything like that, and it was like, yeah, like that's what we're here to do is pass it down to the next generation. So that's how I want to be. That's how you
that's
want to be.
that's that's one of my goals with this podcast, man. Like, truth be told, like, what do you create a podcast for? To leave something behind.
Yeah,
And and in a way, we've already become immortal. We've already become immortal because we exist. We exist on the internet. You get what I mean? And it's not to say that like you're immortal is like you're higher than anybody else, and it's not in that way at all. It just means that like we exist, like we're published somewhere. So it's like our words are going to be out there. Our words are going to continue to grow. And if we can help one or two people with this podcast, obviously the goal isn't to just help one or two, but it's like you just help one person, like that means the world. Like I don't know about you, but like when you coach somebody and they're like come back a few days later like, yo, thank you so much for what you've taught me because I like can't tell you the happiness it's given me, or I can't tell you how long I've been struggling with this, and because of you giving me what you gave me, I was able to figure it out.
yeah, 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 man. Definitely. I get that a lot from people. And it's a good feeling.
And
It's
that just
definitely a
that
good
shows
feeling.
like the type of coach you are, man. If you're able to give that to more than one person, like that's
I
truly
really
special.
like kind of on a less life altering topic, but like one thing that people really come back in there, I mean it is life altering, but not in the same context of like what we were just talking about, but the barefoot training. Like the people who have
Hmm.
never done barefoot training, when they do barefoot training and I'm telling them stuff about like individual toes, like I'm watching them move and lift and I'm telling them things to do with their toes or like where to position their feet, that's the stuff that really people feel the difference because no coach has ever taught them that type of stuff. And they'll come back like, bro, like I'm feeling my feet different after 2 sessions. Like I'm wanting to be barefoot now so I can feel my toes and like stand properly and like walk and just engage my feet. I never thought about that before. That's one that happens a lot.
Yeah, and that's a big one.
That's a huge one. Yeah.
So let's go. I actually want to talk a little bit about that because let's talk about the importance of the foot, regardless of athletic ability.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
so like for me, in my opinion, I think that if we're looking at a human being like an integration, like we're looking at integration, that means the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. If one part of your body is disconnected, like there's no wonder there's a lot of mental health crisis in the United States. There's so much mental health crisis in the world. We're disconnected. Like in the feet are your second brain. The feet are, for the most part, the only contact point you have with this earth. If we're not even connected to the earth, we're not connected to ourselves. How can we connect to other people? The simple act of saying hello, the simple act of like acknowledging other people. Most people don't do that. And especially after COVID, we're trapped in this world and everybody became like very hostile towards each other. And I'm not saying that it wasn't like that before COVID, but after COVID, it was like human interaction became this hostility thing. I don't want to interact with you because you're of the different political race. I don't want to enter our political team. I don't want to interact with you because you might be sick and I don't want to get sick. I don't want to interact with you because my world is so big that I can't let somebody else in. And then all of a sudden, like the simple act of saying hello significantly decreased. Like we
Yeah.
don't even accept the people in our community.
I think the saying hello is like very important. I always make a point to say hello. Like if I'm walking by, if you're walking by somebody, bro, and like, what are you gonna do? Just like awkwardly walk by them and not say, "How's it going?" You know what I mean? Like, bro, and
100%.
you're gonna most likely, especially if it's like in your neighborhood or like, I don't know, somewhere local that you spend a lot of time, like, bro, you're gonna see that person again. And then what? You just never like
Mhm.
now you can't say hello. That
You know
was just
what?
weird.
You know what's interesting though? When you say hello to somebody or you notice them, you start to see them a lot. And
Yeah.
then you think about it like how many figures in your life that were quote unquote random figures are actual like daily appearances in your life, daily occurrences. And it
Yeah, dude,
just
that
makes
could be
you think,
somebody like how many times is like a simple hello turned into a conversation where like you just met somebody that can like help you in your life or you guys are compatible to do some kind of work together or like I don't know, maybe it doesn't have to do with work, but now you have a new friend or something. Like the person plays a role
bro.
in your life just because you said hello.
And everything is growth, man. Everything is growth. The more the community grows, the more we're able to connect, like the better opportunity, like forget about opportunities, because I think a lot of people they start looking at like when the trigger word opportunity or trigger word work comes up, people tend to ignore it because it's like, oh, this is a responsibility now.
Bro, it really like prime example, bro. The other day I was at the gas station, I was getting a coffee and it was right by the gym right by my gym. And I saw a dude wearing like a shirt that I had never heard of. It was like it looked like a gym, and I was just like, "Hey, like, what's up? How you doing? What's that shirt?" He started telling me about the shirt. It was like some like workout program or whatever. I was like, "Oh, dude, like, come check out my gym. It's like right here." I bought his coffee. We went to the gym. I gave him a tour of the gym. Like, bro, like, boom, new client. Like, just because I said, "Hey, how's it going?" while we were getting our coffee. Like,
Dude,
how hard is that?
it's the truth. Like it's the truth, bro. Like I love to say that everything happens for a reason, but if you aren't open and present in that moment, nothing will happen.
No. And it's hard sometimes, especially like, I mean, it's not like, especially if you're really caught up in your life and whatnot, but it's never hard to just say hello to somebody. But like to be truly present in life, that can sometimes be challenging, but it can be worked on. Like, what do you say to that?
Well, okay, I'm gonna take it back to when I was going through because I had gotten diagnosed with like what was it, psychosis, um, um, bipolar disorder, and a few other things. And the thing that really got me out of it, like the thing that really got me to feel like a lot less like in my head was allowing other people to exist in my world. Like truthfully, like and the thing is the act of being present is simply acknowledging what's around you. It's not a specific thing. Like being present is simply just acknowledgement of what's around you. Being present just means like one day you look up at your ceiling, you're like, huh, I never noticed the curve in the way that that ceiling is. Like I never noticed the sharpness of the corner. Like that's being present. Being present doesn't mean you're meditating. It doesn't mean you're looking at a mountain. You can be present at any given moment. It's a simple acknowledgement of what's around you. And so if anybody wants a tip, like my biggest tip for getting yourself out of a mental rut, for getting yourself to feel more present in your life, it's the acknowledgement. And the easiest step you could do, because this is the easiest thing you could do, is acknowledge the people that come into contact in your life, that come into contact with you. Like being in an elevator, so many people are in elevators and they just stay silent. They like awkwardly look around, they awkwardly go on their phone, and there's no service in the elevator. You're staring at a fucking, like you're just scrolling back and forth through your apps. You can't use any of them. You get what I mean? Like this one drives me wild, bro. Like I'll be in there and then like sometimes I wait to break the silence, and like the longer you wait, the more awkward it is, and sometimes I go for that. But being in an elevator, it's the easiest way because you're trapped in there with somebody else. And if you're trapped in there with multiple other people, even better. This is your chance to like get over the fear of talking to people. Get over your fear of rejection. Because people won't sometimes they won't answer. Sometimes
Yeah.
they have their earphones in and you don't even realize.
Some of my favorite videos on the internet are like the awkward elevator videos.
Yeah.
The guy will say something totally ridiculous in the middle of the elevator, and then everybody gets off at the same floor. They get off at the next stop.
But another thing too, think about men. What is like one of the biggest challenges for men?
I don't know,
Talking to
being
women, talking to
a
women.
oh, okay. All right. That
So
all
connecting with the opposite sex. And I can't speak for a woman because I've never been a woman. But for a man, it's like one of those things that you have to get over. You get what I mean? And I believe like being able to talk to women is a great, it's like a business lesson. Because if you learn that ability, like, if you like develop that ability to get rejected, you develop that ability to like have no fear. It's like a cold call. Talking to girls is like a cold call. You like go up, you talk, whatever. You like read the interest. You give them a little bit of a proposition. You read the interest. They bite at the offer or they don't bite at the offer.
let me get that Gmail, shotty.
Yeah, let me get your MySpace.
Let me get that AOL, baby. Hey, if she
But
got that
a big thing
AOL,
I tell my friends, because like my friends, one this is super interesting. Like even though I've been in the movement stuff, like my friends don't necessarily ask me about advice for movement. They're always asking me for advice on how to like talk to people. And I've had to dive into that because I've just been like I don't know if this happens to you, but like the month before my birthday, I get very philosophical. I just become like I start writing a ton about like what's going on in my life, about like the little things, and just try to connect dots. Like during the time before my birthday has always been like that. Like every single year, I just end up writing a ton and just start really analyzing. And one of the things that like came up in my during my writings and during my analysis is like learning how to talk to people has been one of my biggest achievements. Like being able to pull out of like the mental space that I was in and like go into and like be able to talk to a bunch of people and create a community of where I live. That's been one of my best achievements. And it truly is life changing. It's much more like if you want to get with girls, yes, it works, it does all that, but like that's not the whole thing. Like the whole thing, it goes way deeper. It goes way deeper and it ends up like the whole idea of integration, the whole idea of connecting to the self, connecting to the body, connecting to everything ties into that idea of being able to talk to other people because the deeper you connect with yourself, the better you can connect with others. The more you can connect with others, the more the lessons start to like make sense within your own body.
100%. We're gonna wrap it right there. Andrew, I know you got to get going, so we appreciate you guys
Yeah.
watching the show. It's been a good one, a lot of good stuff in this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.